Your hair up. No. Yeah.
We're walking to school. It's been a crazy morning.
Right, coffee time. That was a morning. No shirts. People sleeping in. Road was closed for an accident. It was one of those mornings. We all have them, don't we? It was one of those mornings. So we got a swing today. Anyone struggling with cutting their driver? This is a common issue that I see day in, day out that we're going to deal with today. As we stand at the minute, we are £9,887.75. Amazing work, you lot. Brilliant. The best audience in the world. I don't know what happens when we reach the goal. I put that goal there as a feeling for the year because I'm gonna do this. I've got loads to give away. And look, we've all done it and I'm sure I'll do it again, but I've always struggled with the kind of begging for likes and subscribes and favourites and retweets, and like, I get why people do it, but seeing what's happening with this has just made me so proud of you lot. Like, just so proud. And then so proud that I in any way can be part of it. So yeah, that 10 grand was there. I thought, let's see if we can raise 10 grand in the year of all the prizes. So I don't know what happens when we hit that, and I don't know what, I mean, I've got epic driver, fairway wood, wedge, 1 mile putters to give away, face balls. This could be a great year. Come on, let's make a massive difference, peoples. Right, let's do this swing. Right, you won't believe how often I see this pattern in golf. So we look like we have a weak top hand, so it looks like it's going through the wrong part of the palm and not many knuckles. Not a problem if they can control club face. If we take the club back, we see a bit of a loose top of the back swing, so body stops turning, everything just keeps flopping back when you get people who can't control face to path that well. That's something you can look at sometimes that does get them to control a little bit more about the face to path, as long as some other kind of fundamentals in there like hold. Now as we come down, it's amazing how we see the grip almost turning more this way as they start down. Then we see the face really laying back at this point, so really this club face should be kind of pointing more at me, almost down at the ground towards me slightly, and we can see the back of the left hand glove almost pointing up to the sky. Now body tends to really stall and makes a very good effort, left arm gets involved, so we see the collapse of that, wrist start to really bow forwards to try and catch the face up. Any kind of ideas of fixing what people would call a chicken wing here is kind of pointless because this player is reacting to the way they're using the face and the loft on that club. Grip, wrist angles, face control, this player could hit the ball so different. Alright, coach?
Yep.
That pole's a bit silly, isn't it, on that video, like I said?
What's the score at the moment?
it's just daft. Like, I don't know why why do we bother? Like, what's the point?
Oh!
It's like, it's the worst sympathy vote ever, constantly.
I won.
How long can you dine out on sympathy for? Like, how long can this take? My favourite comment of yesterday was, how can Coach live in Budley Salterton if he hates seniors so much? And then I showed it to Shone, and she said, maybe that's why he hates them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I've done this a few times, but you can see it's a very reoccurring pattern. If you are out there struggling, cutting shots with certain clubs, certainly when loft comes off, please check this. So this player's hold, I would bet almost my house on it. It's through this part of the palm. So right through the middle, really diagonally going up through his hand. Then in turn he probably only sees one knuckle. Now the golf swing is all about matchups. So when you look at, say, a chicken wing on its own, and I've done this years ago, you watch someone on video, they have a chicken wing, you think, oh, I'm gonna sort that chicken wing out. Chicken wings are bad. In golf, they're good in other things. But it doesn't work like that. That player has the collapsing of that left arm on the way through. It's a matchup with his grip. Because if I hold the club the way he's holding it, I'll have a tendency to deliver it open to a path. So let's say the path is straight with the lens here, but my face when I hit the ball has a tendency to point to the right, so more up to the sky as you look through the lens here. I'm going to use my collapsing of wrist and elbow to try and line this face back up with the path. What's compromised now? A few things. Loft is added, so this player could lose distance, sending the ball higher than they should with the desired loft that they choose. Also, the way the club sits on the ground, so the bounce, if you like, is altered. So how this player interacts with the ground might now change. And then in turn, if I'm going to hit balls without trying to get the handle a fraction back and that elbow collapsing and the face now lining up with my path, so hitting straighter shots but higher, my interaction with the ground might be a bit varied. Bounce changes, arm and angle changes. Then the other matchups we'll see is I'm not going to have a huge desire to turn my body and try and get pressures onto that front foot to hit the ball, because I'm going to use more just my body staying stationary, not going forwards or back. Well, I say back, often back helps with a bit of rotation to get that club to really overtake. So we have to start with this hold to try and match up other better movements in their swing to try and deal with all those other issues that I've just highlighted there. Let's get that club going through this part of your hand, much more close to the base of your palm, top of your fingers. So the top of the club, this being the top, this being the bottom, is basically running almost along my finger line at the bottom. Now, when I say this, lots of people go, oh, that's not where I've read it should be. Look, if you take the bottom of the club, you're going to get it going through this joint of your finger, passing through to almost this joint of your little finger, which will feel more diagonally from almost the first finger through into the palm. Easiest way to nail this, club out in front of you, parallel with the ground, hand down beside it, pointing down at the ground, wrap it around, keeping the thumb just to the right of center. That now instantly puts it in this part of your palm. The big thing, if you do this, it'll feel very different in that hold to where you want to put it. So up here, when you bring the club back down in front of you, if you can see 2 to 3 knuckles on your left hand as well, we're in a winning position to start talking about wrist angles, face control, which will help sort out loft, lie angles, and start to get rid of some of those other matchups. You won't need to hinge your elbow so much on the way through. You will have the right to turn and push those pressures forwards. We might get a little bit more speed out of you, and we might get a better flight out of you, which might result in a bit of distance. Straighter longer, straighter longer. The people who should be shouting straighter longer more than anyone else are golf pros. I can quantify straighter longer. I've got an iPad in there full of students who hit it straighter longer after dealing and having chats like we're having chats now.
Let's answer your questions.
Hi Mark, I'm trying to understand something about wrist angles. You said in one of your earlier videos that if you wanted to stop the ball from going right, you could pronate your wrist. Is that the right word? Like this?
It's not.
In an effort to stop it from going right. And if you wanted to stop it from going left, you could pronate your wrist like this in order to stop it from going left. My question is, at what point do you add that wrist angle in the swing? I've been working on intentionally pronating my wrist at the top of my swing, but I was wondering, like, should I be starting the pronation process right as I'm taking it away, or trying to do it at the top, or at some other point? Okay, thanks, bye.
Great question for today's video. We won't go, it's not pronating. You got supinating, pronating is this way and this way basically. And extension and flexion is the term, but it won't change how you do this. I need you, I just can't stop myself, to experiment with when is the best time to do it for you. I start with my students saying that I want you to do it throughout the whole swing, so it's gradually happening. So as soon as you take it away, you begin to do it like tiny amounts throughout the whole swing. That sometimes helps. The next student comes in, same issue, and I say that to them and it doesn't work, so then I say, I just want you to do loads at the start. I just feel like you're turning that club like down to the ground. That works for them. That student goes away, next student comes in and and I say gradually throughout the whole swing. Doesn't work for them, so then I say, so they do it good on the way back, but as soon as they pull down, they start doing this on the way down, so they take the wrist angle out on the way back. As soon as they pull down, they start doing it, so extending it again. I say to them, right, I want you to keep doing what you're doing on the way back, but on the way down, feel like you're really turning that wrist away. It's got to just work for the individual, and there's no patterns. Like, I can't call the individuals before they come in. I can often call that it might be a fault before they come in, or just with chats to them, but I can't call if they're going to be someone who needs to do it all the way through at the top, on the way down. Get in a net, get on a launch monitor, get on a range, do it at all different points and see which one gives the best results. That's how you get the most out of it. I do love this putter, but I want my custom one now. Loft. Say to yourself, you know, I make this clear to so many of my students, and it is complete light bulb moments. Loft. You need to understand how loft controls your delivery to a huge extent. Yet we use open and closed of this term so much more, which is why I think people get lost. So question, if I twist the club this way at address, so around the axis of the shaft, this way, in that comment section down there, question number 1, twisting it this way around the shaft, do I add loft or take loft off? Go on, in that comment section down there. Thank you. And you. Well done. Second question, if I turn the face this way as I swing or at address, so around the axis of the shaft this way, so more often than not we'll relate to this as closed. I want you to tell me if I'm taking loft off or adding it. Go on, down there, hit it up. Let's hear you. Question 1, adding or taking off. Question 2, being that way, adding or taking off. Now, if you make a swing where you start with a face where you feel like you want the ball to start, so somewhere near target, and then you do option 2, which you should have put taking loft off. So feel that as you swing the club, you're turning it this way around your body. So feel like you're turning as you take that club back, you start rotating it around the shaft this way. So I would do that with my wrists. When you hit shots, you will feel like you are taking the loft off. But what you're actually doing, for most golfers, when I test them with this, they don't really hit the ball left, because you've got path in there, haven't you? Face the path determines if you hit the ball left or not, or right, or it curves or it goes straight. But what they tend to do is they deliver a very different loft. Then in turn, the pattern is that the face is closed to a path. They start hitting draws. Very, very different shot. When you ask them to swing and deliver a face closed to a path, they don't really get that. But when you relate it to loft, so twisting it around this axis, as they swing, my success rate with students is ginormous. It changes them. If you can make as many swings as you can, remember this only works if that grip is in that better place where you're feeling that you're gradually, for the whole backswing and downswing if you have to, feeling like you're just rotating that club around that shaft. So rotating it around that axis as you go, flattening left wrist, feel like as you pull down, you're revving those wrists. You won't fail to hit a different shaped shot. You will hit a completely different height of shot because you're manipulating loft. Then in turn, distance of shot. So if you do it too much, it won't go as far, it'll go lower and less carry, and if you do it a good amount, it'll go lower than your already higher shots with your wrist angles. See where I'm going? It's understanding how you manipulate loft with your wrists and that grip that completely change what you're doing. It's Vegas night. You can be sure of it. We're up to nearly £11,000. I've moved the goal to 15,000. Tomorrow's daily vlog, I've got, just watch tomorrow, someone's joining the giveaway. There's going to be 5 extra things given away tomorrow. To anyone who's already donated, you will be included, plus obviously anyone donating up till Tuesday next week. Humbling, amazing, you're all great. Just making a difference in any little way like we're doing. Just thank you. See you all tomorrow. Have a good evening. Post comments down below. So I'm looking forward to seeing how you got on with the questions from earlier on. Tomorrow's vlog is also going to answer an interesting question. One I got in a comment, which we'll talk about tomorrow, about technology and old players and new players. It's a common kind of one that goes around that I think people get confused with. It'll create some interesting debate and hopefully we can all learn from it. See you all tomorrow.